Welcome to Alaska EdVenture, hosted by Dr. Meinert, Superintendent of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. This award-winning podcast is your gateway to the heart of Alaska's educational landscape. In each episode, we'll explore the unique perspectives of guests who are shaping education in the last frontier. Join us on Alaska EdVenture as we share the insights and inspirations found in Alaska's K-12 classrooms.
Welcome back to the Alaska EdVenture podcast. I'm Dr. Luke Meinert, Superintendent of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District, and super excited to be at Hutchison High School today. We're going to talk CTE. We're going to talk about the different pathways we have, and a great way to honor CTE in general. February is CTE month around the country, and so just excited to showcase what we have to offer here in Fairbanks and the amazing educators we have that make it all happen. And then one of our seniors at Hutchison High School who's taken advantage of our certification pathways here and is college bound next year. So really looking forward to the conversation today. Dave, can you introduce yourself and let us know who you are and what you do here at Hutch?
Yeah, I'm Dave Dershin. I'm the principal here at Hutchison High School. This is my first year here at Hutch. It's been a very exciting year to me. I'm glad to be on board here at Hutch because I caught science and career tech classes years ago before I became an administrator. And I'm really enjoying the experience here at this phenomenally small but well-focused school that we have here.
All right, Lily, how about you?
My name is Lily. I'm a senior here at Hutch, taking the construction and building trades career cluster.
And I'm Ben Johnson. I'm the arts audio visual teacher here at Hutch. This is my 18th year teaching. I took last year off for a sabbatical, but Hutch is so great. Even after traveling the whole country, I decided to come back for more.
That's awesome. Well, we're excited to have you back and excited to be in your studio. It's fun. You know, we've done podcasts at different schools throughout the school district, and being able to walk into this arts AV studio that basically is plug and play, and you have fancier tools and gadgets than what we have.
Some good gear.
Yeah, definitely some good gear.
We stole the backdrop from Sears when Sears closed.
Okay.
It used to be a clothing rack stand, and the construction kids designed the front for us. So, yeah, the history of the set.
Love it. That's great. And the nice interactions between different pathways here at Hutch. And so, Dave or Ben, could you explain what pathways we have available for students and how they take advantage of those?
Sure, I can talk about some of that. So we have 5 main pathways here at Hutch. We have our academy that she's in, our Building Trades Academy, which includes really a construction set of courses and welding courses as well. Students can come in. There's a 4-year pathway where they can learn carpentry skills and everything involved with building construction and walk out with certificates and welding as well. We have an IT and information tech program, also was a 4-year pathway for kids to go through all sorts of things through programming and building and breaking apart computers and all those kinds of things. We have I'll come back. You can talk about Arts AV. Okay. We have a health occupations cluster, and the health occupations cluster is great for any student who wants to be a nurse or a doctor or work in a hospital in any capacity. What am I missing? We have what we call transportation, distribution, logistics cluster, which is our automotive program with a huge small engines, 2 years of small engines, and then automotive courses as well on top of that. And students come out with certificates, and again, it's a 4-year pathway. And I'll let you talk about Arts AV.
Yeah. So our 5th pathway is this one, the Arts AV. It's really the media pathway. We do everything from video production, stuff like this, set design, podcasting, broadcast journalism. We're always evolving because that media industry is always evolving.
Mm-hmm.
So we do some photography, but we're also getting more into some animations and upper level graphic design. And we even are delving a little bit feet into things like virtual reality and augmented reality stuff. So we're just the media cluster, always evolving to an always evolving industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fun to see what the students bring with them in Arts AV specifically. I'm sure they're pushing the envelope in terms of, I know a lot of students I talk to as I'm out and about, they want to be YouTubers when they grow up. And that certainly wasn't something that kind of was in my realm when I was thinking about career choices, and but could be a legitimate career choice for somebody down the line.
Yeah, I mean, content creators are just everywhere. And even if you try to become a YouTuber and you're not totally successful, all of a sudden you're working at I just had a business meeting with Doyon Industries. Their public relations specialist is one of our alumni and was going to be a YouTuber when she was first here, but now's found her way into PR. So it all works out. But they really like showing their stuff off, and you'll see some of it around town actually. The Ice Dogs, when they came up with their new screen, they didn't have any content for it, so we built some content for them, and our kids run the cameras at the Nanox games, streaming hockey and stuff. So yeah, Arts AV is everywhere.
Yeah, lots of transferable skills. So Lily, what brought you to Hutch, and what keeps you interested in continuing to go here?
Well, at first I didn't really know what I wanted to do outside of high school. So I decided, I'm going to try construction, and I decided I really like construction. It's really interesting to me. And I'm going to college next year, so it's not completely in the construction industry, but I still really enjoy it, and I've taken all 4 years. It's really entertaining.
Excellent. And Dave, thinking about it, from a high school, it's different than a traditional high school in that we do have really strong career and technical education pathways. And so what is that interaction like with the community or community partners, and really showcasing that we are building the labor force of the future, and just having it out there that we need their support so that we can support them in the future?
Yeah, we work very closely with the Pipeline Training Center, and we take our students there. We took about 65 kids there for a tour one day, and it was wonderful to go through their program. And they run a live training simulation. So when they run pipe welding, they do it out in the field, in the weather, in teams. And it was really wonderful for our kids to go over there and see the kinds of things they're doing, because some of the messaging we got from the trade union leaders, whether it was the heavy equipment operators or the welders, plumber, pipe fitters, or whatever, was that besides the skill set that we teach in the classroom in terms of like being able to weld or being able to build this or that, or fix or repair things, or be a nurse or whatever, one of the skill sets they're really looking for is communication skills. We've had a real shift in our society in terms of people staring at phones and iPads and laptops all day. And it's really important that people have the skill set to work in teams with other people in any kind of career. And that was a good lesson for us to hear from them. And we brought it back and have integrated some of those classrooms. And it's just sort of a neat thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Those soft skills. And could you guys talk about the workplace readiness score that students, work on and achieve here at Hutch?
So there's soft skill categories that staff at the end of each quarter go ahead and they assess all of their students on these skills. These are not content skills. It's not English, math, science, construction, welding. It's all the other interrelated things. It is the soft skills piece, the professionalism, engagement in class, timeliness, all those kinds of things. And the students get a readiness score, if you will. Currently, it's just used here at the school to give students an idea of how hireable they are. Do they have these other skill sets? Funny enough, another pipeline training thing, one of the most important things he said is he wants people to come to work every day.
Yep. On time.
Yeah.
Every day. Not use all your sick leave common employees, because those are a challenge to work with. And that was another message we passed on to our students. So.
And there's one of the scores is communication. And we're scoring the kids, again, not on, did you turn your work in on time? That stuff's in there, but communication. Are you easy to talk to? Do you talk to me? Do you advocate for yourself? That one's in there as well. Do you answer your emails? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I think it's a powerful tool. I got to participate in some senior interviews of students last year. And one of the seniors I talked to, he had actually brought his workplace readiness score to his job interview. And that was a part of him securing a job, because he could show that he was reliable. He consistently showed up. He showed up on time, and he did what the instructors wanted them to do. And so great selling point there for our students out in the community.
And we tell the kids too, when we're going over them with them, we're trying to get them another thing to have to hand out. It's not supposed to be, grades can sometimes be, oh, you didn't or you did. This is meant to be like that story. Hey, look at me, 6 teachers over all these years at Hutch say, I'm great for a job. And we've had kids too that we say, well, if your score's not good on that, maybe are you even ready for that job if you can't show up on time and communicate well and all that stuff?
For sure. Yeah, that's a
and we don't call
baseline
them soft
expectation.
skills anymore, by the way. Employability
That's
skills
right. Thank
now.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
soft skills
updated
is a
vernacular.
bad word.
Yes. I have heard that and I've got to
Yes.
switch to that.
Yeah.
So thank you for the reminder there.
There's nothing soft about employability.
Exactly. Definitely. So Lily, how is Hutch preparing you for the future?
Well, for one example, so my welding teacher, I used him as a letter of recommendation for scholarships and things like that. And being prepared for class and things like that will help me be prepared for jobs in the future or getting ready for class and things like that. And I think just testing out what I want to do in the future, like testing out, do I want to do welding? Do I want to do construction? Testing things out before I fully commit to a job.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm sure you talk to other fellow students, and do they share similar thoughts? What's your read on how many students will come out of Hutch and enter the trades versus might go to college or might take a gap year of sorts and try to figure things out of what they want to do next?
One of my friends actually graduated early and is working up north in welding.
Excellent.
So there's people who take apprenticeships right out of high school and start training, because for most of them you have to be older than 18. So senior year, as soon as you turn that age, you gotta start your apprenticeship. And people really get those as soon as possible, right out of high school with all the certifications that you earn.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, we try to do as much as we can in each industry that we have. Certainly, sometimes we run up against age restrictions. I remember having this conversation a couple of years ago with heavy equipment operating, and there's some strict guidelines around that. Some of our community partners wanted us to start doing some of that a little earlier, and we have some great simulators here and great options, but to actually put them in some of the heavy equipment, there's some limitations on that.
To follow up on what you're saying, it's almost as important to try things that you just realize you don't like when you're young. Some people pay to go to college or pay to go into a training program to be something they don't enjoy later in life. And it's a great opportunity to come to Hutch and realize, I really don't enjoy this field. I'm going to try something else. And we provide the opportunity for students to switch and try courses in other clusters as well, so they can spread our wings.
What's kind of nice about the clusters that we have right now, the 5-2, is these are skills that even if you don't go directly into that trade, it's going to be useful if I know how to fix computers or present stuff well on media, or you're going to have a house someday, so you're going to really be glad you know how to weld.
Absolutely.
When you're fixing stuff. So it's all great skill stuff, and they're intentionally chosen that way. Not only are they community need, but it's also just good skills to have in life.
Mm-hmm. And Ben, you specifically, what has kept you at Hutch for all of these years, even after touring the country and getting to see everything that's out there?
It's not the weather. This classroom has no windows, so that helps because I don't see. I'm from Arizona originally, and we came up with the military, so we thought we were going to be here 3 years. And then my wife ended up, they let her out of her contract, oddly enough. And so suddenly we had a choice on where to go. And so we were leaving. I was the football coach at West Valley, and I told the boys, I'm not coming back. Our tour's up, we're leaving. And when you look around the country, teachers in Alaska compared to somewhere like Arizona, at the time we were treated way, way better. The gap is shrinking a little bit now. Some of the other states are catching up, or Alaska is not going forward as fast. But so, program funding was good here at Hutch and that stuff. And so as we looked around, we said, well, where would we go? We said, well, we'll stay a year. And then 1 year turned into the next. And my wife actually taught here at Hutch. She taught the health occupations program for a little while. And it's just such a unique school because there's a lot of CTE schools across the nation, and a lot of them do the bus-in thing. And that works in some ways, but to have a little community and have, like I had Lily in student council, and we were, organized, and to see the family that a school becomes versus just, I'm going there for a class or two. It's just a really unique situation to have a CTE school that way. So the good funding from the state and just a neat program. Now I'm dragging my wife back all the time. She was the one that really wanted the road trip, and we did it. And I said, well, where would we go? And
Mhm.
you know, there's other great states, but Hutch just has a special place, and it's so much fun to work here, and so we keep coming back.
That's awesome. Well, certainly lucky to have you. And Fairbanks in general really does value career and technical education. There's a CTE multiplier within the formula funding for school districts. And Fairbanks made a decision long ago that CTE formula, or the funding pieces, are going to go directly into the classroom to support CTE education here in Fairbanks. And even through some really challenging budget cycles, we continue to offer, I think, innovative programs for our students. And a lot of times, I think it would be easy to cut. CTE programs are oftentimes the most expensive classes because of the equipment that's there, and also having lower student to teacher ratios because of the hands-on nature of them. But we also realize how important they are for our students, and for them to be able to learn valuable skills that they can take right into the workforce after high school.
One of the things too, I think that we get a lot of value of as being all in the same building, is when you have an English teacher right down the hall and you're talking about script writing for a news show, you know, the correlation between their core classes. And, you know, I know in welding, you guys do math like every day, right? He's got math problems for them on the board. So, you know, again, that CTE is so valuable because it is core stuff, math, science, English, you know, it's all there. But we trick the kids into thinking they're not doing it.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, you're making a news show. You didn't realize you're doing math and all that.
Yep. Yeah, tons of different things that go into each of the career clusters. Lily, can you think back on a favorite project or thing that you worked on in one of your CTE classes?
Well, I think my favorite right now, so I've been doing sculptures in welding. I do silverware sculptures, so I make like a bird out of a spoon and a knife and things like that, or I make a beetle. Beetles are my favorite, so I've been making like a bunch of different types of those, and they're just sitting on my shelf, just art pieces. And now I am in independent research, and I'm planning to make a sculpture for the Skills USA competition, so I'm going to enter in the state competition and see how that goes. I'm excited.
And they sell the roses. So all of you watching at home, if you want to, it helps raise money for bus trips and stuff. And they sold out the first, what do you have, 10 or so?
Yeah, we had I think it was like a dozen. And then we sold them at the Hutch Bazaar.
Nice.
And they all sold out, and we had some on back order too. People were really excited about them. They're beautiful roses made out of washers, just like the little circle washers. And then you bend them, and then it looks really pretty.
That's great. I'm glad you put in that plug.
Yeah.
Got to reach out.
Absolutely.
We'll send you the link to buy them.
And Mr. Dershin, I mean, how are if somebody's listening to the podcast and they're like, oh, I really would like to support our students here at Hutch or a specific program, how might they do that?
Well, you know, we have lots of parents who sponsor different activities and things. We have some community groups that will come in and sponsor, and really contacting us in the office is a great way to do it. You know, we get contacted all the time about donating materials for our shop programs. You know, the price of metal and rod and everything has gone through the roof. And our shop teachers reaching out and working with, I don't remember if it's Lowe's or Home Depot, one of the companies there, about donating a large amount of lumber for us so that we have, you know, some materials, because they're fairly expensive. But if you're interested in donating to Hutch in any way, please call us at the school and call us at the office. We will work with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of community partners supporting what's Lily. Back to you. What does a typical day look like for you or for your students here at Hutch?
So I have first period independent research. So I get to school, well, with the Monday schedule at least, I get to school, I check in with my teacher, which is Mr. Johnson, and then I head over to welding and I start working on whatever I have planned for that day. And then after I'm done with my first shop class, I go through either my academic classes, and then I have my construction class as well.
Excellent. And is that pretty typical for most of our students?
Yeah, most of our students have 1 or 2 career tech classes, and then all of the rest of their core classes. So some kids will walk next door to West Valley to take a class we can't offer. And at the same time, we have lots of kids that come over here from West Valley and they come over and take career tech class, welding or whatever, and head back to West Valley. We also have shuttle bus service, which is great. So if kids live in the Lathrop attendance area or the West Valley attendance area, they can take a bus to that school and then get here in the morning and then get back at the end of the day to head back home on a bus. And starting next year, we're hoping to have a lunch shuttle as well. So kids want to do half day elective content with us. They can come and do elective content with us. I call it elective content for them, but for us, it's really a core, We have a lot of students come take small engines classes or intro to healthcare occupations. And we're going to provide that for juniors and seniors at other schools next year.
I love that. I mean, that's huge, providing access, for students that are at West Valley and Lathrop. They don't necessarily have the same shop space or equipment available for some of these upper division CTE classes. And so great opportunity for students that are already at our high schools to take advantage of what Hutch has to offer. If I'm a parent of an elementary student or middle school student, and I think Hutch might be a high school that I want my student to attend in the future, how do they go about doing that?
So we're a lottery school, and we tend to have about 125 spots for freshmen. We break it down fairly equally between clusters. And so the lottery closed. I think this show is showing after the 17th. Lottery closes Monday the 17th at 3 p.m. And parents can go into the district's lottery website and a parent would apply for one of the clusters. Now, if you're watching this podcast and you want to get your kid on the list, you can still put your name in. They'll come in underneath all the lottery kids. But, sometimes kids think they want to come here and they change their mind. So I recommend getting on the list if you think you're even interested in having your child come to Hutch.
Absolutely. And then keep in mind the other opportunities. If for some reason they don't get in their freshman year and they're at West Valley and Lathrop and want to take a class over here, talking to their counselor about that and seeing if that's a possibility for them.
Yeah, for sure. We're trying out a new program for next year. We're doing a small engines block. Usually it takes 2 years to get through the small engines program. We're going to try out a double blocked period. So kids from Lathrop, West Valley, juniors and seniors, and even juniors and seniors of ours who want to do small engines can do it all in a year, so they can have access to the auto program their senior year. Possibly.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
And I think too, if we're talking to people thinking about coming to Hutch, one of the things to keep in mind is we really are based around those 5 career clusters. And you'll see, Lily didn't mention it in her day, but the kids, that becomes your group of friends, right? That becomes who you hang out with. So unlike other schools where maybe all the freshmen are mainly friends, here you'll find, most of the welding kids kind of get to know each other through stuff, and the arts AV kids, and you become a part of that cluster. And what happens sometimes is we'll get students that come in that maybe didn't really want to do any of those clusters, weren't really interested, but mom said I have to go here because my brother went here and liked it, or whatever. And those kids end up kind of isolated, because if all of your friends love taking photographs and you're not really into it, it's not as nice. So because there's those limited number of seats, when we encourage people to sign up and come to Hutch, it's because you want to be in one of those clusters, because we're finding kids that come for the wrong reason don't end up liking it and end up going back to their home school. And then that's sad, because somebody else could have been in that seat that did want to be there. So it's worth having that good discussion with your student about, hey, this is a cluster focused school. And if you're for that cluster, doesn't mean you have to become a doctor, but it means, you're going to be in school with people that are really excited about that stuff. So we want people that sign up to be excited.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so glad you pointed that out. We want to make sure that because we do have a limited number of seats, that students that really are interested in those career clusters are able to take advantage of them and aren't just coming for a small high school experience or something like that. So Dave, any closing thoughts from you that you'd want people to know about Hutch?
Well, I can tell you this is my first year here, and it's been one of my best years working in a school because of the familial feel here in the building, not just among clusters of staff, but also the kids. They're friendly, they're welcoming. They say good morning. They ask how I'm doing in the morning. They, my first day here, we started the first 6 weeks without a custodian, and I thought, okay, here we go. And after lunch, the cafeteria was completely clean. And I said, oh my gosh, these kids could come here. They take care of the facility, and in the shops and the other classrooms, they train the kids how to take care of their space, and it's important to know those kinds of skills just for everything you do in life. So I really enjoyed it here. The staff are very welcoming. They are always willing to come and ask me challenging questions, which I appreciate, right? It's important to make sure people feel comfortable doing that. And because I think people here want to make sure the school is always going in the right direction. I appreciate that about the staff.
Yeah, great staff here at Hutch. Lily, any closing thoughts for you?
I just want to say that Hutch is a really great opportunity, so I highly recommend applying. I think it's a great opportunity for just about everybody.
And Ben?
I just, obviously I love it here. If I keep coming back, maybe pray for my wife, since it doesn't look like it's going to be ending anytime soon. And I guess the other thought is, especially like to the alumni that might be watching, there's lots of changes that happen and refocusings and rebrandings and all of that. Mm-hmm. And, so when the community gets involved and speaks out and hey, I went to Hutch and I want to protect this program, or mm-hmm. I think it's just important that people are kind of advocating for their schools and their spaces, and even the businesses that we have these partnerships with, yep. Being involved in saying Hutch needs to remain this way, or any shuffling that needs to be done. Just people should reach out and kind of speak up about their schools and their programs.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, we want Hutch and all of our schools to be reflective of the needs and wants of our community, and specifically when we're offering CTE pathways, it should align with our city, our state, and the global economy. And so there's certainly other pathways that we would love to offer in the future. So we're hopeful for increased education funding at some point in time, that we can continue to offer those great things for our students, and specifically targeted funding for CTE education, because there's a lot of great offerings that we're already providing at Hutch, but there's things in the pipeline that we would love to offer, but we just don't quite have the resources to do it yet. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, this is another episode of the Alaska EdVenture podcast. Thank you to my guests for being on today. You guys were great. And thank you for everything that you're doing here at Hutch. And Lily, just wish you well in the future. I know Hutch has prepared you well, and don't be a stranger once you graduate. I know both the staff and the students that are here would love to hear from your future experiences. And I think you can be an inspiration to the students that remain here at Hutch.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you.